Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into a new edition of the Batter Up podcast, sponsored by the Dugout of Millwood here on the Sports Insanity Network. Mike, Mark, Dan with you. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Dan, I'm not going to make you talk that much because you just said your voice was raspy,
Oh
but
no,
just wanted to say, how are you?
I'm okay. This not to get political, but this Trump stuff is getting annoying. Like, come on. I'm glad that he's okay, but at the same time, like, why?
Uh,
Like, I work in TV news, so I have no choice but to stay up for this crap. So, you know.
uh,
But in all seriousness, I'm glad he's okay, and I'm glad that most people got out there alive. But I do send my condolences to people at the rally.
hmm.
Uh, and that's all I'll say about that. It was a long night.
Violence is never the answer, people.
Yep.
All right. But we have made it. Today is the final day of Major League Baseball before the All Star break. Home Run Derby tomorrow night, All Star game itself Tuesday. We will dive into a lot of stuff regarding the game, also have some fun regarding the All Star game
Hmm.
in our own historical senses. We'll go over the new format of the Derby as well. But earlier this week, we billed it as the two best teams in the National League playing each other when the Dodgers went into Philly and played the Phillies. And Mark, the Phillies swept the Dodgers in that 3 game series. Is that a big deal or is that not a big deal? And if it's a big deal, who's it a bigger deal for?
I think it's a big deal for the Phillies. I think this was a statement in and of itself. You saw the dominance of the pitching, you saw the dominance of the hitting. The focus is still always going to be on what the Dodgers did, the $1 billion spending. But it hasn't turned out anything to look at what this Phillies team has come out and done this year. And for the Phillies to come out and say, hey, look, we're not slowing down because it's the All-Star break and show that type of dominance, huge.
Danny.
Can I give props to the Philadelphia Phillies?
Mhm.
I mean, first things first. You're facing a Dodgers team. They're at the top of the building, like you said. Along with them, the National League. But the Phillies, minus their two big guns and Harper and Schwarber, are able to sweep LA.
Well, they got those two just in time for that series, actually.
Yeah.
They got them
Yeah.
back right before the series.
But I'm just saying in general, like
Right.
the, the my point is this. It's not like they had been playing a lot though.
Mm-hmm.
They have
No,
been
you're right.
playing.
They didn't go on rehab. Neither one of them went on a rehab.
So that's my point. Is that okay? So they returned. That's my bad. But like they haven't really played, so it's like you know you're getting a Phillies team that has a rusty Schwarber, that has a rusty Harper, and they sweep the Dodgers. Dodgers should have absolutely murdered them. And they didn't do that.
It's a massive credit to the Phillies, but you're right in the sense of I think this is actually a bigger deal though for the Dodgers for this reason and this reason only. They need pitching. They need it in the worst way, and I get it. Their rotation, you can make an all-star team of the rotation with Kershaw and Bueller
Yeah.
and Yamamoto probably would have been an all-star had he not gotten hurt. They're not going to get Dustin May back this year. He tore his
Yeah,
esophagus. There, that was a
poor guy.
report,
Yeah, that poor
which
guy.
is wow. And the top of the Dodger lineup with Betts, Freeman, and Otani, that's really good. The rest of the Dodger lineup, it ain't nothing like the Philly lineup where 1 through 9, everyone's a threat, including Trey Turner, who's been red hot since he's come back from injury and helping some of us gain massive amounts of fantasy points. So thank you, Trey Turner.
The one and only time you'll ever hear Mike say thank you to a Philly.
Yeah, it's pretty much true. But and if you look at the Phillies now, and this is just the standings in the National League East, they're 9.5 up on the Braves. They can. I'm not going to say they're gonna coast in the division, but they don't have to worry about anyone in the background. And if you look at the Dodgers, they're 7 up on Arizona and San Diego. They can coast just because those two teams haven't taken advantage of the Dodgers when they've played poorly. But massive statement for the Phillies. And I believe the two teams play. I don't think the two teams have played in LA yet. The two teams play in LA August 5th through the 7th in LA.
Big series.
Yeah. So that is when the rematch occurs. And who knows what both teams will look like, because that'll be post-trade deadline.
Right.
So all right. So let's dive into the week coming up. We're going to talk the home run derby. We're going to talk the game itself before we get into first half awards and stuff. But first, there's a new format in the home run derby. And Mark, we were talking before. You were talking about you like the new format.
I happen to love it. I mean, I like the original format going all the way back. That's something else. But, times change. You got to move it. I think doing 3 minutes was ridiculous for each round because the home run derby became a 4-hour event. Now we're going back to the way it should have been. Everybody battles out, the top 4 make it, and then you battle off. That, to me, plus a maximum of 40 pitches. You're not risking the shoulders and elbows of these guys getting hurt, and you have to figure that's why players like Aaron Judge and Soto don't want to commit to it because it can mess up your swing, timing different things. But
shout out Bobby Abreu.
I do think that this year's format is going to bring you a little bit closer to what it used to be like, just not exactly.
I'm intrigued to see it. I'm intrigued to see what it'll look like. The new format. But you're right. This was turning into a 4-hour event. And now with the pitch limits, 40 pitches or 3 minutes, whatever comes first, it also limits the amount of pitches guys could take now.
Yeah.
That's another part of this. Like, guys were very selective, even though they had their own pitchers out there. The warm-up's going to be very interesting. But you're right. I like the fact that the first round, it's the top 4 instead of the head-to-head stuff where a really good player could get out in the first round.
Exactly. And we saw that happen with what I believe it was Otani a couple of years ago, And yeah, so he did make it to the next round. But this now brings you back. I mean, when it was originally done, it was 10 outs. And that used to take an average player 20 to 25 minutes to go through. And it would be a fast pace. If you look at the network shows from years past, we've been live for the home run derby. And our first year was 2 hours and 28 minutes. Our next year was 3 hours and 12 minutes. So you have to assume if they went with that same format with advertisers and all these things, you're like I said before, and Mike agreeing, it was going to be a 4-hour event, and it's not what people want to sit and do.
And we can only listen to the ESPN guys talk for so
So
long. uh, Dan, any thoughts on the new format?
It's interesting. It's
Mhm.
very interesting. I mean, anything to make the home run derby quicker, but I thought home run derby was a whole day event. So it's like, you know, purists aren't going to love this, but the new people love this for sure. Uh, so I'll give it a shot. Why not? I mean, how many pitches do you really need to hit like a trillion home runs, though? That's my thing. So I think 3 minutes is enough time. I think 40 pitches is enough pitches. It's your bombs, you know. You don't want a situation like a Bobby Abreu where he's in like 20 some odd home runs in the first round and he still hasn't gotten 10 outs.
Mm. Oh, yeah, you're right. So the purists probably do hate this, but if
Yeah.
you're a new school person, you probably will enjoy this.
Yeah,
But
you just gotta give it a chance. Just like the time clock. You gotta give that a chance, right? We gave it a
Yep.
chance, and it turned out to be one of the best home run derbies ever. You know, our
Yes.
boy, I think our boy Todd Frazier won that home run derby when it was first implemented. Like, you know,
New York baseball legend played for both teams.
yeah.
By the way, the field for the home run derby this year
Mhm.
is a very good field.
Mhm.
It's one of the better lineups we've had in the last few years.
Yeah. Bobby Witt, Pete Alonso, Adolis Garcia, Gunnar Henderson,
Jose Ramirez.
and Teoscar Hernandez. And it's a pretty good crop.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, sorry, go ahead, man.
I'm sorry, but the polar bear's got to win if he's going to come in again. You know.
He's gonna try to win.
Yeah.
With that short porch in left field, as I said to Mike earlier, at Texas, numbers are going to be inflated because I'm not 1,000% sure, but I believe it's like 319 to that pole in left field. And that's just a high pop out at Citi Field.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Houston?
No, Houston has the 2 tier.
Uh,
Texas has that cutoff in left field, just like Boston does
the
on
Green Monster.
No, I'm talking about Pesky's pole.
Oh, okay, right field.
Yeah.
It should be a fun derby.
Yeah.
I love the derby. The derby is the dunk contest.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to put it, because it's pretty much the most exciting offshoot activity of the entire All-Star weekend.
To be fair, like I love the game, but the derby's what you want to watch.
Right.
Like if you miss the game, you can miss the game. The derby most years is can't miss. Although I really wish ESPN would bring Chris Berman back so he go back.
We missed the smooth sounds of the great Chris Berman.
Shout out Chris Berman.
Yeah. And for the longest time, that's the only thing that we got out of Chris Berman during the baseball season was the home run derby. You know.
Yeah, because he was just NFL prime time for the longest time.
Yeah.
Still is. Unless he retired, which I don't know. But all right. Speaking of the All-Star game, we have one half of the starting pitchers announced. Pirates rookie Paul Skeens has been announced to be the starter for the National League. So if you did not watch this, Paul Skeens was on the Dan Patrick Show Thursday after he threw 7 no-hit innings against the Milwaukee Brewers. And Torey Lovullo, who's going to manage the National League, called into the Dan Patrick Show to tell Paul Skeens he is going to pitch start the All-Star game. Skiing so far in the season 6-0 with a 1.90 ERA. All
I
right.
have not seen this in a long time. Kid who just gets drafted #1 overall,
Mhm.
comes up, doesn't even have to waste time in the minors. If you watched any of his minor league starts, they were unreal.
Yeah.
Comes up and makes 5 amazing starts. Not good, not acceptable, amazing. I have seen many a pitcher come into this league,
Mhm.
but I don't think I've seen anybody more exciting as of lately than Paul Skeens. And I think it's awesome that what he's doing in Pittsburgh. Here's the only thing I feel bad for Paul Skeens is he's in Pittsburgh. So I mean,
To be fair, they're right. They're a young team. They're a rising team. You know.
yeah, I'm just feel bad that that's where he is. But hats off to him, and much more is going to come out of this kid.
He'll have many more All-Star appearances. He'll have many more, hopefully, starts. Um, no, I mean it's the right move.
Yeah.
Look, you can't look at this guy. First of all, coming off the outing where he was taken out while he was throwing a no-hitter. So just wanted to point that out. But yeah, man, look, when you have a 190 ERA and you're 6-0 in 11 starts, I mean, there is no way you can look at that and be like, oh, well, no, he's just a rookie. There's no way we can put him in the All-Star game. No, man, like he's taking the league by storm. And he is certainly gonna be one of the big young aces in this generation. And people need to be rewarded for how good they are. And people need to showcase that. So it's perfect for baseball. I love this move.
I love it too for another reason. The game is for the fans.
Yeah.
And what has been the most talked about subject since he debuted? It's been Paul Skeens and his epic mustache. He's he is a talking point in Major League Baseball. So he had to be the starter. The only guy I would have accepted starting outside of Paul Skeens was Chris Sale. He's pitching today, so it's not even a thought anymore because of the year Chris Sale's had. This was the right move by Torey Lovullo. I wonder if Major League Baseball kind of pressured him and said, "No, you got to start, Skeens," because now look at what we're going to see. We're going to probably see Paul Skeens against Gunnar Henderson. We're going to probably see Paul Skeens against Aaron Judge. We might get Paul Skeens against Juan Soto. Like the endless possibilities on the second biggest stage of them all, the biggest stage being the World Series, for a Pittsburgh Pirate.
And he's going to get some ovation when he's announced
Oh
in
yeah,
Pennsylvania. He's going to get some ovation, and it's well earned and deserved. I know going into the All-Star game for him, like Mike said, the people who he could face, you have to figure he'll pitch 1 to 2 innings at the most. He's not going to pitch more than that because, everybody's going to try to get in at one point or another. But you figure he'll at least pitch the first inning. And Mike's right. We could see him against Gunnar. I don't know if we'll actually get to see him Soto Judge, but that I would love to see what happens. You know, Aaron Judge, obviously the best hitter in baseball right now, who just kills the ball, versus the best young pitcher in baseball. Gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, look, we, we need to make the All-Star game exciting. And the past, formats didn't make it exciting. What makes it exciting? The players.
yeah.
You know, players make it exciting. I want to see, we talked about Judge, talked about Henderson. Paul Skeens possibly facing them. Yeah, that's the thing that people go to TVs for. Obviously, until the other All Stars come in, no one cares. But
Yeah.
but that first part of the All Star game,
Mhm.
that's what they want to see. So yeah, I mean, but part of it's that, and I think baseball's making the right move. And then also Paul Skeens deserves to have the attention because he's so good.
Mhm. Yeah, I wonder who's going to get the ball for the American League, but we'll find that out tomorrow when they make that official announcement. But Paul Skeens gets the ball in the net for the National League, and it should be fun. I don't think I've ever seen a guy throw with such easy velocity.
His motion is clean.
Yeah. And it's effortless. The
Yeah.
100 miles an hour, it's effortless. Oh,
Yeah, certainly very good stuff. And it's new,
yeah.
so so the league's having a hard time figuring him out, just like they had a hard time figuring out a lot of new pitchers, right? When they came in with their good stuff, I'm talking to you, Masahiro Tanaka. Um, so yeah, it's new, and he's a stud, dude. He's a stud.
Most hype debut since Steven Strasburg.
That too.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And we know how good Strasburg was when he first came up. So, all right. Like we said, today's the end of the first half of Major League Baseball. So, how do you conclude a first half without doing first half awards? We'll dive into those. And then I've got a fun activity to close out this brief edition Batter Up podcast. So, Mark, I will start with you. Let's start with the American League.
Oh, of course.
Who's the American League MVP?
It's Aaron Judge. I hate to put a Yankee there, but it's Aaron Judge right now. He's the strongest hitter in the American League. He's the most feared hitter in the American League. And he doesn't just show it by his stats, he shows it by his character as well in his play in the field daily.
Dan?
I mean, everyone should be in agreement here, but you can't talk to a Yankee fan about that. Come on now. No, Judge has been sensational. He got off a slump though, but has crushed a couple home runs in Baltimore. So I'm actually very happy that he's going to go off on a high note in Baltimore. But yeah, man, no, Aaron Judge has been absolutely terrific, and like he's the bright spot in the Yankees when they couldn't find a win. So I'm actually thrilled about that. And again, the thing that just stinks is that I just wish that he would be the MVP, but the team is good. I wish the team was good. That's not the case. So very, 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 very upset about that.
Yeah, it's easily Aaron Judge. I think there are some guys who can make a case in the second half who can make a run at him. But when you set a Yankee franchise record for most home runs before the All Star break,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it.
that's kind of a big deal.
But yeah, huge deal.
And Dan, to your point, without Aaron Judge, this lineup stinks. If you take him or Soto out, it's an awful lineup. They don't produce enough. So yeah, it's the judge, jury, and executioner for the AL MVP. All right, Mark. American League Cy Young.
If it ended today, it's going to a Baltimore Oriole, but it's not the Baltimore Oriole you think I would pick, but it's going to Grayson Rodriguez if it ended today. 11-4, 1.24 whip, 3.88 ERA. Scott Strong hasn't given up too many home runs, but's given up enough. But if it ended today, I give it to Grayson Rodriguez.
Dan.
I don't know who to give it to.
Ooh.
To be honest with you, I think I may go. You're not gonna be shocked, but you're gonna be shocked by this. I may go Screwball from the
Yeah.
Tiger.
That's where I was going.
Okay.
And I'm glad that we're on the same page. I thought we weren't going to be on the same page. No, man. Like, I think that this dude, his stuff is tremendous, and look, he's 10-3. Tigers team that's obviously very underwhelming. But 10-3, 2.45 ERA, and but the strikeouts that he has so far in 116 innings, he has 140.
40.
Yeah.
140. This guy has been absolutely terrific. And I think he could get better, to be honest with you.
6.7 strikeout to walk ratio.
That's insane.
That's
dude.
That's
insane.
ridiculous.
A 0.88 whip. Like then you just said the one of the keys for me. The Detroit Tigers have underwhelmed all year.
Yeah.
But when Tarek Skubal pitches, it's win day.
It's true.
I'm in agreement with you there. I think Skubal's the guy I would lean towards too.
Yeah. And I just wish they had more confidence on that team. I kind of build them as like one of the sleeper teams, and so far I'm kind of right with the pitching.
Well, you know what? They're 4 games under 500. So it's not like they're the Chicago White Sox of
the
Chicago White Sox. But you're right. They've underachieved. All right, Mark. AL Manager of the Year.
I am going with Kansas City. I can never get this guy's name.
Quatraro.
Whatever.
I don't know if
he knows who he is. He knows who he is. Matt Quatraro.
He knows who
he knows who he is. He knows he's being represented very well. Look at what the Kansas City Royals have done. 52-44, one of the most improved teams in baseball. You got Bobby Witt Jr., Sally Perez, Whit Merrifield. You got a young pitching staff, and this team is just going to get better. I mean, second half for them could be interesting.
Dan.
So the Manager of the Year. We're talking Manager of the Year. I honestly have no idea what to go here.
If you need a moment, I will go before.
I will need a moment on
this. So I'm torn on 2, actually, Mark, and neither one's the guy you said.
Okay.
One would be Stephen Vogt from Cleveland.
Okay. Very, very understood.
Because of the shoes you have to fill when it comes to Terry Francona, who I think is a future Hall of Famer. 2, remember they lost Shane Bieber, their best starting pitcher. And they still find a way to be at the moment 4.5 games up in the American League Central. The other guy, and I don't know how upset people are going to get when I say this, I think we got to give some credit to Alex Cora for the job he's done with the Boston Red Sox.
I mean, the Red Sox are not in first place, but they're not in last.
They're a wild card team.
They're hovering. They're hovering right now. And
they
right
are
now,
in that
as I said, they're in the
card.
Right. If it ended, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying Boston is right now just hovering. So I think we'll see a lot more from them in the second half.
Yeah, they're 4.5 out in the division too. Like for a team we thought was like, all right, they're not going to be any good this year. The Boston Red Sox have played pretty good ball,
Yep.
including the new owner of the New York Yankees, Rafael Devers.
Oh, little sad there at the Yankee fan.
Well, listen, it wasn't towards Dan. It was just towards,
I said the Yankee fan. I didn't say Dan. I said the
Okay.
Yankee fan.
Listen. I don't know. I had nothing. All right. Dan, you made a decision.
Yes, tied. Let's see. I mean, I don't want to have so much agreement here. I'm gonna go with Scott Service again
Okay, see ya.
in Seattle. Only because I thought the Astros were gonna run away with that division, and clearly that has not been the case. So I'm going with the Scott Service in Seattle. But Stephen Vogt, I will say that's been some crazy Guardians team that he's been managing. I'm telling you. He's done a terrific job. And for a lineup that really has no business being one of the best teams in baseball. It's a tremendous job. It is a tremendous job.
By the way, you brought up Scott Surf, so I have to do this. Jerry Dipoto, go get some bats.
I
You're in
mean,
first place.
yeah, widen that lead. Like, get the hell out of
You're
here.
down to a 1-game lead
Like,
on the Houston Astros.
yeah.
By the way, that's the first series coming out of the break,
Mhm.
and the Astros are in Seattle to play the Mariners.
Come on, Mariners. Let's kick their ass.
I don't know. Do you think Dan dislikes the Houston Astros, Mike?
Listen, Dan might dislike the city of Houston. I don't know how he feels about the Texans or the Rockets.
I mean, I don't mind living in Texas just as long as it's not Houston, you know?
Here, Texas is
Honesty
good
where it's most
barbecue. What can I say?
I mean, and that's the thing that would drive me to Texas is the good food.
You know what? Yeah.
And the big size plates.
Not a bad
Hopefully that
reason.
still exists. I don't know if that still exists. The big size plates.
It's not a bad reason to drag you to a place.
Who am I thinking of talking about food on a baseball podcast?
Oh, we could go all over the place. Nice plate of ribs or brisket. Let's
I was about
go.
to say brisket, fella. Gotta get the brisket.
We gotta any burger or anything, any beef. Yeah.
Shout out the Where's the Beef Lady.
Yep.
And she was deaf too.
All right. Let's flip it. Let's go to the
Getting
National.
back to the realization of why we are here.
Not just planning that Mark is the same age as the Where's the Beef Lady, but we'll flip it. We'll go to the National League side for the awards.
Oh,
Who's your MVP?
My NL MVP.
I mean,
I can't believe I'm saying two from the two hated teams I hate the most. I've already said one from the friggin' AL. Bryce Harper from the Philadelphia Phillies.
ooh.
I'm sorry. The guy is having one of the greatest years I've seen in a long time. He's got 21 home runs. He's batting over 300, 0.404 on base percentage. Those numbers don't lie. It kills me to say Bryce Harper because he's a Philly. It would have killed me to say Bryce Harper if he was on any team in the NL East. It would have killed me to say. But no, you have to give credit where credit is due. Yes, he just missed time due to an injury, but look at what he can possibly turn this season into in the second half.
Dan.
I'm going with Shohei Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
You can hate him, you can love him. You can still think that he did betting before the season. No, like I think. Look, I totally am with you on Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is just absolutely a godsend to that Phillies team right now. But Shohei Ohtani has 29 home runs, 69 RBIs, and is easily the best player on that Dodgers team. I think if you take Shohei off this team, I don't know if they have 58 wins. I don't. I don't think so. You can take Bryce Harper off this team. The Phillies would still probably have close to 60 wins. They're that good of a team. So that's I think it's just that alone, that one player for one team, I think makes a difference. I think it's Shohei.
I'm with Dan. I think it's Shohei too, but I'm gonna go for something you said. The Phillies just played without Bryce Harper, and they played pretty well without him. But Shohei Ohtani got moved into the leadoff spot after the Mookie Betts injury, and he's done nothing but hit. And albeit we could say whatever we want regarding the gambling situation.
in which we
Truth,
have. We've said
truth of the
plenty.
matter is we can't prove anything.
Nope.
And so he's playing. He's, for my money, the front runner for NL MVP. I'm with Dan. The numbers bear it out. Almost, if he homers today, I think that's 30 on the year. He's just having another ridiculous year, and he hasn't even pitched. So,
Can you imagine if he starts pitching? Probably
Oh.
won't happen until next year. But like, you know,
yeah. All right, Mark, National League Cy Young.
This is hard. You know, you've had so many good pitchers this season. Come back to me on this one. Dan, you take this one first.
it's a hard one, but I'm going with Paul Skeens. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Like no, like I know he's on a sucky team, and I know he's only young. You probably eligible for Rookie of the Year, whatever. But no, I think he's the best pitcher in baseball. At me,
I don't disagree with Dan at all. I think he is he's not already just a great player. I think he's going to be even better.
like he's in the National League dominating. The National League is a very good league right now, and he's dominating the National League. Look, I know he's in a terrible division, but like, you know, he's dominating the National League. Gotta give him credit.
All right, give him time.
And you know, he's faced some really good hitters. I mean, dude's tremendous. I'm going with Paul Skeens. And his ERA backs it too.
Yeah, well, it's
So that guy's
1-9, I
undefeated.
believe.
You know?
Did you make up your mind? Did Dan play you?
Well, no, I mean, Dan's answer is very, very, very good and very, very rightfully so. I just don't want to say the same answer. I want to make sure I give my straight opinion on one, but I did want to give my answer what Dan had to say. For me, it's Aaron Nola of the Philadelphia Phillies.
It's a good one.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Wheeler. I thought
I had Wheeler above last night just because he was a Met, and then I'm like, no, you skip town, you're going below Aaron Nola.
Yeah.
You don't get my vote. No, Nola 10 and 4, 11 and 4, 116 strikeouts, 3.38 ERA. Yeah, his ERA is up, but it's only because of a couple of games that he got torched. Nobody's perfect. I'm sorry.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, he is a fantastic pitcher. There's not much more else you can say about that. He's only walked 27 batters, given up a lot of home runs. That's the one thing, you know, that kind of hurts. But Philadelphia is that park where if you lift the ball in this warm weather, that ball's going to travel anyway. So, Nola.
All right. I'm not picking Zach Wheeler either, just because you skip town, jerk. Chris Sale.
Oh.
12 and 3 with a 2.74. What was that, Dan?
It's not a terrible pick.
You know, it's
well,
not. It's just
he's pitched well.
12 and 3 with it. And by the way, the Braves have needed him to be this good because of the injury to Strider. the inconsistencies of guys like Charlie Morton and Max Fried, Chris Sale's been dominant because, well, he went to the Braves, and that is what they do.
It's but Mike makes a great point there. Anyone that Atlanta touches all of a sudden turns to gold. It's it's a good team that they have down there.
11.7 Ks per nine, 136 strikeouts total. I'm just trying to see if I get the strikeout to walk ratio again. Okay, 17 starts, 10 quality starts, which is 6 innings, 3 runs or less.
Right. That's unreal.
That's stuff you don't see today because guys don't go that long into games anymore.
Correct.
All right. Mark, National League Manager of the Year.
When you look at the National League, there are a lot of managers who deserve it from their teams being at the top. But I also judge teams by the way the managers handle issues and stuff like that. And I'm sorry. If you don't think I'm not picking Carlos Mendoza and Grimace as a pair, because let's face it, Grimace is actually the character of the year to go along with Carlos Mendoza, who was just put here to help out. Look what this guy has done, and look at the attitude he's commanding of his players. They all come out and play hard. They all show up. There's no excuses. He lets them get out of trouble. He doesn't automatically pull them. He's giving them trust. And in return, look at what this Mets team is doing. If the season ended today, the Mets are in the playoffs. Okay? Nobody was picking the Mets to make the playoffs. By the way, I did it in my fantasy picks and my money leagues. But Carlos Mendoza is doing something here in New York, and whatever he is saying is getting the right return and getting the right attitude for a New York-based team.
Okay.
I had to get 1 minute there.
Dan.
Where are we at? Sorry.
National League Manager of the Year.
Manager Robbie Thompson. That's the easy one. Look, the Phillies are on a roll. They've been on a roll all season. They have 60 wins plus, and their players are unstoppable. Pitching is fantastic. Hitting is fantastic. And he's become a really good in-game manager, even on close games. Like, the Phillies find ways to win. Rob Thompson.
I like this because we're going to have 3 different answers. Pat Murphy, Milwaukee Brewers.
Okay, that's a good one.
Fair enough. Absolutely.
We all thought Corbin Burns gone, Craig Counsell gone. They're going to take a step back. No, they're still in first place in the National League Central. They play a fun brand of baseball, and somehow Christian Yelich has found the fountain of youth and has stayed healthy most this year.
It's Moneyball in action over in Milwaukee.
MBIA, Moneyball in action. Love it. All right. Those are our first half awards. All right. To close out, I wanted to do something fun regarding the All-Star game.
Okay.
So what I have decided, we're going to do a fantasy draft of All-Stars.
Okay.
We are going to create lineups for both the American League and National League. You can only use a player once. So here's the example I'm going to give. If someone uses Albert Pujols in the National League, you cannot reuse him for either the National or the American League lineup of which you create.
Which kind of stinks because Albert Pujols actually played for the American League too.
Right. This is why this works.
This is going to be interesting, not only because it's going to be fun. It's because we got 2 different levels of baseball prowess here. These guys they all know the past history of Ruth and all that. I am more knowledgeable on stats going back to the 1900s because I was playing then. I was out there fielding balls early then. So I'm
It's
really
true. He showed us a
interested.
picture once of him and Ted Williams standing side by side.
Excuse me, I filled up Ted's plane on the aircraft carrier. I wish I did actually. No, you got two different points of view, and it's going to be interesting. But something tells me the person who's going to be most screwed is me.
Why are you gonna get the most screwed?
because the most popular names that fit, I actually went through with stats. So it's like, let's take Dan, Yankee fan, Babe Ruth. Of course, one of us we're going to have Babe Ruth in our rosters at some point. But the way Mike is doing this with the draft gives you a way to play straight strategically.
Okay. We'll make it work.
We will make this work. All right. Since you want to be Mr. Screw, I'll start with you. We'll go around just position by position. Start with your.
How many people are we picking?
We're just going one position by position, except for outfielders where you'll take three.
Okay.
Three outfielders
DH or
and
no DH?
I'll give you the DH.
Okay.
one
Yeah.
pitcher. We're doing one pitcher.
I'll give you a starting pitcher.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure.
I did not put that down, but if you want a starting pitcher,
No. I wasn't sure a pitcher was included. That's why I'm asking.
No, I'll include it. Well, let's
cool.
do it.
All right,
More the merrier.
All right, you
Have
tell
some
us where we're
fun.
starting.
All right, Mark, you want to get us started? American League catcher.
American League catcher. Is there any other catcher that belongs there than the great Yogi Berra? No.
Ooh.
Yogi Berra, catcher. AL.
I thought you were going to go with Yogi Bear.
I would have went with Boo Boo. I would have went with Boo Boo.
Dan.
My catcher in the American League. Let's see. See, Mark Cook took my guy, Yogi Berra.
That's why when Mike
Well,
said,
that's why we're
gonna
Mike
have
said
fun with
AL
this.
and
Here's what I'll
catcher,
do.
I'm like,
Here's what I'll
this is
do.
like a punch to the
Here's what I'll do. Since he's very good, I'm gonna go with Pudge.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
great pick.
Go Pudge.
A lot of respect for him.
Don
Absolutely.
Rodriguez.
And also arguably one of the best nicknames of all time.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to go with a guy who's going to go into the Hall of Fame in a couple of weeks. I'm going to go Joe Mauer.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go more new school thought. I don't know if I could say a guy who won an MVP was underrated, but I think Joe Mauer was a little underrated because he played in Minnesota. So I'll go Mauer.
Joe Mauer is a borderline Hall of Famer. Sorry, I can't.
Oh, it hurts my soul, man. Mauer power. All right, Mark, first base.
See, first base, there is only one clear choice, but I want to see how this pans out. So I'm going to push it further down, and I'm going to be going Albert Pujols because I have him in here. Pujols would be my first baseman with the Angels.
Okay.
Danny boy.
In first base, let me choose the Iron Horse Lou Gehrig.
Okay. I'm going to continue my new school thinking. I'm going Miggy.
Miggy Cabrera. Probably one of the best careers in baseball history.
Yeah. Won a World Series at 19 with the Marlins and then turned himself into a Hall of Famer with the Detroit Tigers. 3,000 hits, 500
Triple crown.
Yeah. What a player. All right, Mark, second base.
Nap Lajoli. I'm sorry. Probably one of the greatest, fastest second basemen to ever play for the Cleveland organization. But no, sorry, the White Sox organization. My bad.
Dan,
We're on second base, right?
you're on second base.
What?
I'll say, let's see. No, I'll go Altuve. How about that?
Oh wow! I didn't
Wow.
think that was
Wow is
coming.
right. Wow. Wow is right.
I did not. After the whole Houston experience, I did not think that was coming. Um,
Altuve. I'll go with that.
I'm gonna go with a guy I just liked watching. Not gonna go historically here. Give me Dustin Pedroia. Give me the gamer that was Dustin Pedroia. Altuve before Altuve was Dustin Pedroia.
Height too, yeah.
All right. Mark, shortstop.
I am not. Thank you. For me, it's the greatest shortstop that I ever got to watch play in the American League, and that's Cal Ripken Jr.
Dang it.
Fantastic ball player.
Dang
The
it.
guy has one of the records that'll be almost impossible to break with consecutive games played. One of the most beloved families from errors on baseball cards to absolute dominant play in baseball is the Ripken family. I don't think there is a choice other than Cal Ripken.
Okay. Dan.
Does he count Alex Rodriguez?
Yeah,
Does
he played
count?
shortstop. So yeah,
Okay, cool. So Alex Rodriguez.
that steroid infested jerk.
Oh,
Here we
please,
go.
please. Steroid, no steroids. Alex Rodriguez was a great ball player,
Oh, he was a very good baseball player.
and he should be in the goddamn Hall of Fame. So, and I'm glad that people are starting to realize that because his numbers are going up in the ballots. All right. Yes,
We're gonna open up a whole can of worms when if he gets it.
but Alex Rodriguez is my pick. I
Yeah.
would choose my boy Derek Jeter, but Alex Rodriguez, before he made the transition to third base, was a way better shortstop than Derek Jeter. I'm just putting out there.
Well, just since you left him there on the silver player, I'll take Derek Jeter.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
you want to talk about a winner? That was Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
So I'll take Jeter in there. All right, Mark, third base. I don't know. Third base.
I've seen many a good third baseman play, but if you're picking historically wise and you're picking right, it's George Brett. Nobody else pissed off. Nobody else pissed off George Brett like the Yankees. So the effort and the time he put in to beat them and try to beat up umpires with his tarred bat. Give me Brett at third any year.
At third base. Mark said Brett, right?
Yes, I did.
Mark said Brett. All right, we apologize for the technical difficulty there.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that
Yes.
the right one.
All I got was Mark said Brett, and then he got into him pissing off Yankee fans.
Yeah.
And then he froze. So something happened.
Give me Adrian Beltre.
Okay. Give me Wade Boggs.
I was thinking about Wade too.
The only guy who could pound 30 beers on a flight and then still go play.
Sure.
Not a false story. He's the one who even told me
Not
on
a false.
ESPN.
But favorite line in there. It's not a false story.
It's true. And he even admitted it. I drink 30 on the plane and play next day.
It's a great story.
Yes.
All right. Mark, outfielders.
If I don't say this, I'm sorry, Dan. If I don't say this, then I'm not a true baseball fan. Babe Ruth.
Okay.
Do I pick all three or just one at a time?
We'll go one at a time.
Okay, Babe Ruth. I have to say it. Because if I didn't, then it's not true draft.
I'm taking Ted Williams.
Oh, I'm taking Griffey
Okay.
Junior. Junior. I want to
I was
make
about
sure.
to, I was just
Let's see
literally
it.
about to say senior or junior, but I was
No,
like,
I'm taking
you really have to
Junior.
ask that?
You want to talk about a great ball player? That was Ken Griffey Jr. All right, Mark. Next.
Tony Gwynn when he played for San
No,
Diego.
no, American League.
I'm sorry, American League. I'm sorry, wrong side. Mike Trout, center field. Sorry, wrong side. No stealing him on the next side. Dan.
Sniped.
Joe DiMaggio.
Mickey Mantle. I'll take the mixter.
Frank Robinson.
Here's to you, Mr. Robinson.
I wanted to leave some names out there because I didn't want to have everybody stumped like that, but it's going smoothly. I love it.
I'll take Aaron Judge.
Okay.
I want to just double check that this man played the outfield before I say it. Otherwise, I look like a fool and nobody. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to take Ty Cobb.
Okay.
What was with the face there, Mark?
I was trying to remember, did he ever play the outfield? That's
He
all.
was center field listed on Baseball Reference.
Yeah, it's
I
hard to
say-
remember. My knowledge of him is third base.
My knowledge of him is the guy who invented corn on the cob.
No, he invented spiking. That's what he did do.
All right, Mark, who is your DH?
The big hurt. Frank Thomas. Nobody, well, there are plenty of people as feared as him, but I'm sorry, when you see him step up to the plate, my God, was he a monster. Damn good ball player, too.
For designated hitter, I'm gonna go Shohei Ohtani.
All right. I'm going to take David Ortiz.
Big Poppy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about someone that didn't take steroids.
Just wait till we get to a National League outfielder.
Oh Lord.
All right. Mark, who would be your starting pitcher?
It's my guy, number 45, Pedro Martinez.
My starting pitcher. Well, I can't take Babe Ruth because he was taken as an outfielder.
That is correct.
I'll go with Roger Clemens.
Just make sure he doesn't throw a bat at people.
Sure.
I'm going to go Bob Feller.
Okay.
Main-
Bullet Bob Feller.
Mainly because now I could say this. Cleveland Indian legend. Take that, people. You can't do that. All right. Let's go to the National League side, Mark. Who's your National League catcher? I don't know why I'm asking. I'm pretty
I was
sure.
about to say,
have
do
an
you
idea.
really have to ask this question? Number 31, Mike Piazza.
Oh, wow. I didn't think you were going there.
I had him also, if you're thinking who I'm thinking, but I went back and forth. No, Mike Piazza.
Hmm. Dan?
I'm gonna go with Gary Carter.
That was who I had
Gary,
next to him.
the Gary Carter as an expo.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to go Johnny Bench.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I thought you were talking about going back and forth with, Mark.
Now, Gary Carter meant something different to me. It was just one of my heroes in baseball.
Hmm. All right, first base.
At first base, see, this was actually a tough one, but I like who I ended up picking. John Olerud, when he played with Toronto, he was fantastic when he was with the Mets. He went to Toronto. He ended up with the Yankees. He was a great defensive player, great hitter, great vision on the field, and a true leader. So that's where I give it to him.
And wore his helmet playing first base.
That's because he suffered from a brain aneurysm, and that if he got hit in the head with a line drive, it's possible it could have been accident.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I just thought he was trying to make a fashion statement. Dan,
First baseman,
first baseman.
Mark McGuire.
Big Mac attack.
Has his own land named after him in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go off of both of you. Keith Hernandez,
Yeah.
Right.
who should be in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Based, not just based on his defensive numbers were excellent. His offensive numbers were excellent.
Yeah.
He wasn't a one-way player.
Second base.
Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan.
Great
Love the man.
announcer as well.
One of the only guys I can actually tolerate on ESPN.
Oh, him and John Miller were phenomenal back in
Yes.
the day.
Yes.
Oh. Dan.
Go Rogers Hornsby. Going way back.
I'm going to go Jeff Kent.
Okay.
Jeff
Interesting.
Kent was a really good ball player.
Yeah. But get screwed by the writer because of his bad treatment towards the media.
Oh.
Apparently he was a jerk.
Unreal. All right, Mark, third base.
This was actually tough, and yeah, he deserves to be there, but no. Going Mike Schmidt. I mean, if you're talking about dominant third baseman, Mike Schmidt was one of the best hitting third basemen to ever play the game. Fielding, he was a top fielder. There are a lot of players who fit this bill, but for my aesthetic, Mike Schmidt.
Mm-hmm. Dan.
Come back to me.
Come back to you. All right. I'm going to take Pete Rose, the all-time hit king, Charlie Hustle, another guy who should be in the Hall of Fame despite doing what he did. And also, he's the only guy I've ever known to take out a catcher during an all-star game.
Yes.
That's what the game meant to Pete freaking Rose. Also, he got tombstoned by Kane. So,
Okay. All right, get ready for this one. Larry Wayne Chipper Jones Jr. Let's go.
Larry.
Larry.
I'm sorry. Not that, he's out of baseball now, so I don't hate him because he's not on the Braves anymore.
Chipper Jones. I mean, hands down, great ball player.
Absolutely. Will not take that away from him.
All right, Mark, shortstop.
No, can't say hey. But we can say, let's play two. Ernie, let's play two. Banks, Chicago Cubs. Plus, I had 5 other people just in case these two took it.
Ernie Banks. Okay. Dan?
So we're at shortstop now, right?
You're at shortstop.
No one's taking Pee Wee Reese, right?
No.
I'll take him.
I'm going to take the wonderful Wizard of Oz, Ozzie Smith.
Okay.
Great defender.
I'll have to admit, watching him do the backflip at a Mets game when he went out, that was pretty cool. That's something the Wizard of Oz used to do when he used to come out and take a spot. Used to love to watch that.
Now nobody can do a backflip like Ozzy.
No.
I don't think Ozzy can do those backflips.
I don't think Ozzy can do the backflip.
I was about to say, I
anymore.
don't think Ozzie Smith is doing too many backflips right now.
Mark, are you doing any backflips right now?
If I did a backflip, my spine shoot out part of an orifice that I really don't want to talk about.
All right. Who are you taking in the outfield?
Give me one of the best arms to ever be there, Vladimir Guerrero. One of the best defensive and offensive outfielders to ever play baseball.
Dude had a freaking cannon for an arm.
Yes.
And my favorite memory of him, though, is still he was with the Orioles and he hit the ball that bounced off the dirt.
Yes.
He still got a base hit off of it.
Yep.
Oh. All right. Dan?
Outfielder, my first
Outfielder.
outfielder. Was Barry Bonds taken? I wasn't paying attention.
No, you can take
Barry
Barry.
Bonds, left field.
All right. I'm going to take Say-Hey. I'm going to take Willie Mays.
Asshole.
I am going to take Willie Mays. I'd Ross Sissel. Arguably the greatest
Willie
ball
Mays.
player of all time.
It arguably it pretty much is.
Well, I know people like to use arguably, so. Who are you taking next?
Oh God. Go to Dan on this one. I'll come back next.
Okay.
Because you kind of screwed me there.
What's
Dan?
that supposed to mean?
I gotta find somebody.
Hank Aaron.
Hmm.
Damn it.
Should went.
Oh. You need more time.
He played one spot in the outfield. I don't. Damn. You want to know? Let's have some fun. Let's put Mookie Betts out there.
Okay, that's a good one.
Let's give Mookie a little bit of credit. It's just what he needs. Mookie Betts. Let's look what he did in Boston, what he did in LA. Sorry he got his wrist broken on a pitch that came inside. But it's possible he could be there for the playoffs and they'll need him.
I'm going to go Roberto Clemente.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to go again or you want Dan to
No,
go?
no. You guys go around. I have to now go figure out somebody else.
Oh.
Run by the Yankee game. I apologize.
That's okay.
It's all right.
Okay.
It's right. It's the Roku game or whatever.
Roku. I'm still trying to figure out how to find it. That's the thing. Let's see. I will take. Let's go. It was Stan the Man taken? Stan Musial?
No.
Now he was.
All right. Well, then Stan the Man is mine.
Okay. There is no way I'm going down like this. This is horrible. So I'm going to go with the pick that I had secured when I was changing everything. Tony Gwynn, back in the outfield where he belongs. I had taken him off because I was redoing it, and then these guys took everybody else I had on my list. So Tony Gwynn, back where he belongs.
Sure.
Well, I was waiting because if you did do it, I was going to snipe it again. I'm going to take Andrew Jones, who also should be in the Hall of Fame. You want to talk about a great defender? That was Andrew Jones.
Yes.
So, all right. DH, Mark. Who would you go?
Paul Molitor, Milwaukee Brewers. Probably one of the most solid hitters to ever play in the major leagues.
Dan?
I'm gonna go unconventional here and say Manny Ramirez.
Did play for the Dodgers. I'm going to take Bryce Harper as my DH.
Well, with rightfully so, it fits. Again, having the year of years.
All right, Mark, who would you have be your starting pitcher?
Number 41, Tom Seaver.
Mm,
Okay.
Dan.
Nolan Ryan.
Mm. Torn on two. I'm gonna go. You know what? No, I'll go with the lefty. I'll go Steve Carlton.
Okay.
Okay.
I was thinking maybe Maddox, but I was like, you know what? Maddox is kind of a slam dunk. Give me Steve Carlton. All right.
I have a question for the two of you. This was a question that was asked of me this weekend. We're going to start with Dan. You have a choice. You can get 30 grand in your hand right now or play a week in the major leagues. Which
I
would you
need,
rather have?
I need money. I'll take 30 grand.
Okay. Mike?
I need the money too. I'd like the 30 grand, but you know what? To play a week in the show, I think we're gonna take that because that's a great lifetime experience. So I'm gonna take that.
Better get
So I'm gonna
compensated for it.
I'm gonna give you the answer that happened in my house. My friend asked me this. My wife says, "You want to think how you want to answer that question?" And I'm like, "Forgot you were in the room." So she's like, "If you stay a week in the major leagues with everything we've been through, I'm gonna kill you right here on live air." And I'm like, the 30 grand sounds really. No, the look on my wife's face, like if you stay a week in the majors, I'll kill you.
I'll take the week in the
I'll be
major.
honest. For me, it would be a week in the majors. I would be very happy.
Oh,
I love Major League Baseball. I really do. I wish I could have been good enough to play Major League Baseball because it's a hard sport and I respect it so much. I grew up poor. I need money.
no,
Money.
I totally get it.
See, the 30 grand, obviously, 30 grand's a lot of money. But when you play 22 years of your life at a catcher position and you're told you can have 1 week playing for the Mets, okay. I caught pitches that Sean Manaea can't reach speeds of, so I know I could catch him. The rest of them, no. But I'll be Sean Manaea's personal catcher.
Oh,
All 5'7" of me. I don't even think they make catcher equipment that small.
not since back in the day.
Right.
Oh, all right. That'll do for this edition of the Batter Up podcast, sponsored by the Dugout of Millwood. Mark, anything on the dugout?
Look for a couple of records this week from Charlotte and myself. That'll be coming out, having to deal with the order we are about to receive.
Okay. All right. You follow us on the socials. We're on Facebook. We're having an issue with the other account, so don't make an issue of that.
Yeah, save as the Sanity Reel. Save it on X. Save the account.
Yeah.
God damn you, Elon.
Lonnie.
What is
all right? Check out the website www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com for great blogs, vlogs, planes, trains, and automobiles. Until next week, for Dan, Mark, I'm Mike. Stay safe. Stay cool, everybody.
Yeah.
It's getting hot.
It's too hot, man.
Talk to y'all next week.